Hey guys, benpaines here, and today we're back once again for another video, and this time we are over down at Teamsport Gosport for a little bit of fun, as I know it is one of the tracks that is coming up for the regional finals of BIKC very soon. Now, I have head down in this one with fellow Bristol compatriots Harley Smith, Aaron Mitchell-Begley and Arthur Langley, as we are just down here to have a little bit of a fun run around and see what sort of lap times we can do. Now, before we head into our flying laps in the second session, which is when I put in some of my faster laps but not my quickest laps, just due to the fact the camera had a little bit of a malfunction at the end of the session. But if you do enjoy this one, can you please leave a like on the video down below, as I really do appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button, as I really do appreciate it. And we have a lot more videos coming very soon, including my very own regional final, which will be coming up in the next couple of weeks. Now, leading into our first lap, I found pretty quickly that this track was a bit of a tricky one to master. Now, a lot of this track you did have to really keep your foot pinned to the floor. There wasn't really a lot of areas where you needed to slow the kart down too much, and instead it was just a case of being as smooth as possible through each of the corners. Now, one thing I noticed pretty quickly is obviously we are using the Biz Electrics. These are first gen Biz Electrics. There's no boost button, and honestly I really didn't enjoy how they handled, if I'm brutally honest. I found that the brake pedal was way too sensitive. I was really struggling on the brake pedal. But with this in mind, we have come across the line with a 30.344 as our fastest lap so far. We do skip forward ahead in this one, as we were just sort of trundling around on our own. So we want to throw a little bit of action in the mix here. You can see Aaron has dived down our inside there, and now we're having a little bit of race practice with him, giving him a little bit of a run for his money. Dive down our inside, we're going side by side through the first sector of the track, trying to set up some sort of switchback. The track was very slippery, so maintaining grip levels was really key, and regulating the throttle, which I found was quite hard to do, as these Biz Electric karts, I find they're more of an on and off switch rather than a linear throttle. So with this in mind, unfortunately we have sort of slipped back behind Aaron here, and we've now begun to lose a little bit of time to him as we come around the next couple of corners. So I'm going to stay on board here through the next couple of laps. You can see we come across the line with a 31.854, so about a second and a half off our fastest lap so far. However, we were still having a nice bit of fun as we were driving around the track. So once again, we come around the halfway point in the lap, very short lap, only 30 seconds long, so you really don't have a lot of time to really focus on what's going on. You just got to sort of send the car around each of the corners and really hope for the best. And again, you can see we've now got Mr. Selway, who has overtaken us up the inside, and that has led to us being a little bit slower once again, a 31.119. Now, I did see he was one of the quicker drivers on the night. I believe that this is also his local track as well, so I thought if I was able to stick up behind him, then we'd be on some pretty decent lap times. So you can see here straight away the differences between some of the lines he's taking compared to myself. I am sort of trying to throw the kart in quite violently, much like his, but unfortunately I'm just not getting the exits on the corner. You can see they're coming up and over the ramp or the bridge section. We've really lost a lot of time, not really carried enough momentum through the last corner either. However, despite this, we come across the line with our fastest lap so far, a 30.282, and other drivers on the night were getting mid to low 29-second lap time, so we really wanted to try and aim for a 29-second lap time if we could by the end of the evening. So obviously here, once again, we're really throwing the kart in. Unfortunately, through that bottom hairpin there before you go on the up ramp, I was really struggling to get the power down properly in a way where the back end of the kart wasn't sliding. I didn't know if this was the way I was driving or if it was the kart I was given. I was really struggling with that lap after lap. We do come across the line once again with a 30.090, which again is an even quicker lap compared to the other laps we've managed to do so far. You can see I'm really violently trying to throw the kart into each of the corners just to sort of minimise the track distance, because there's not a lot of track to drive around here, so the shorter you can make it, the quicker you're going to be. And obviously every single tenth really is crucial here. The sort of grid throughout each of the sessions we did were only separated from first down to 12th by only a matter of tenths. So obviously the closer you are and the shorter you make the track, the more time you're going to shave off, and obviously the higher up the grid you're going to be, which coming up to BIKC is going to be very important, especially during that qualification stage of the regional final. So we're coming in once again, really trying to stay in the middle of the track rather than going super wide into that bottom hairpin. I think it's compromising us here watching this footage back compared to on the evening. I thought that by staying in the middle we'd sort of lessen that track distance, as I mentioned, but unfortunately we weren't getting the run out of the corner. But despite this, we've come across the line with our fastest lap of the evening yet again, a 29.916. And then later we skip forward once more where we see Arthur Langley barreling down our inside. He was very quick on this evening, where of course, like myself and Aaron, this was our first time at the track, so was really determined to try and keep on pace with him. We then have Harley, who has raced up our inside there. We've let him pass just because obviously he has come down to the track a fair few times already. I wanted to try and follow behind these two and see where I was going wrong, as they were consistently quicker than me throughout the rest of the evening. So once again, you can see here we're now in a little bit of a train, but unfortunately we are getting gaps coming over the bridge once again. So it sort of says to me that I am taking the wrong line through this bottom hairpin. However, I seem to continuously do it, and it's just really a shame. Now we come through the first section of the lap there, really sort of messing up, hitting the barriers, which is obviously going to cost us time. Again, just going in a little bit too hot into this chicane section here and drifting out a little bit wide into the first section of it. And again, as we come into the bottom hairpin once more, we mess it up once again. Clearly this lovely noise or visceral scream that I let out was almost a bit of a brain reset, because from this moment and the lap you're about to watch now is in fact my fastest lap of the sort of second session. It wasn't my fastest lap of the evening, but I was only a couple of hundredths quicker in the final session as well. So we're going to get on board with this one. You can see we're really taking a nice smooth line through that chicane on this occasion, and it's allowed us to catch up with the guys up ahead of us. And again, coming into this bottom hairpin, we finally got this hairpin right where we haven't got the back end out under braking, and now we've really closed the gap once more into the last corner here, really throwing the car in, just lifting off, no need to brake, and then we come across the line here with a 29.888 second lap time, which is by no means a super quick lap time, but it is pretty respectable for our first time at the track. Obviously my goal here was to get a low 30-second lap or a high 29, and we managed to achieve that on our first attempt at the track, with other drivers in our weight category getting around a 29.5 with a multitude of times at the track. So really happy with this, despite feeling quite slow on the evening compared to some of the other drivers. But obviously a lot of other drivers are a lot lighter, or they have been to the track a fair few times as well. But unfortunately for us, we weren't really able to get back up to that same speed throughout the rest of the session. You can see that I'm really trying to adjust my foot on the left hand side where the brake is, as I did feel that I kept tapping it a little bit too much throughout just driving around. And I don't know if that was from the bouncing and how sensitive the brakes are, but it was one thing that was really starting to frustrate me. You can see me again looking down at my braking pedal just to see what the hell's going on. I also, at this point, which you will see at the very end of the video, did in fact, as you can see, I'm also looking to the heavens through the first corner, I did in fact have a bit of a metal pin sticking into the side of my leg throughout this session, which was really uncomfortable, and I think it's a bit of a design flaw in the biz carts, but it was really uncomfortable to drive in. Unfortunately, I didn't quite enjoy that aspect. I didn't have that same feeling in any of the other carts, but it was just this one. I don't know what was going on with it, but it really did hurt, honestly, as I came off after the session. So you can see here, our last lap, we have been very consistent, only 100 off so far, but unfortunately with our failure through the first corner on the last lap, we did go 3 tenths slower once again. Now here I felt that we were really starting to motor at this point, but unfortunately we're getting loaded from behind by Arthur, who I think is trying to give us a little bit of a friendly boost forward, but unfortunately it was just throwing me off a fair amount here. And once again, the brakes just, I was getting really frustrated with them. I didn't really know what was going on. I was really struggling with this car in this session. And again, we're trying to come through the last corner here, just really throwing the car in and coming across the line. We have sacrificed a little bit of time there, another 3 tenths down compared to our fastest lap so far, but we're still on some pretty decent and consistent pace. So once more through the sort of chicane section here, really trying to throw the car in, trying to stay as tight as possible on exit. Again, coming into this last hairpin before the up ramp, throwing the car in, but unfortunately the car just didn't want to work, and I was really getting frustrated. You can see I'm stamping on the brake pedal. I don't really know what's going on, but it just seems to keep going off without me actually pressing it, and I don't know if that was just my leg. So in order to sort of mitigate this, you can now see we're doing a bit of a nice squat in the cart. So obviously in the biz carts we've got a little ridge where the pedals are, and I decided to put my foot there instead of on the brake and just solely lift off on the accelerator, which is where I sort of lost my head here. You can see how much slower these lap times are, but I am just trying to throw the cart in without using the brake pedal at all and just hoping for the best, because I was getting really fed up with the amount of time that it was just coming on with my foot, I think, just bouncing off of it with vibrations going into corners. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with the car. I just got to find a way to sort of mitigate this if I was in a race situation. So you can see here we have still got our knee bent, and we are onto the last lap now, so we're going to see what we're able to do coming around on this last lap. However, I do believe that there are in fact yellow flags. Yep, they've just come out, and that did signal the end of this session. So that does in fact bring us to the end of the video, guys. I hope you have all enjoyed this one. If you have, then can you please leave a like on the video down below, as I really do appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button, as it really does help me out. I hope all of you guys that are coming down to Gosport for your regional finals have the best time, and I wish you all the best of luck. I am in fact going to come down and give it a watch on the evening, as I'm really excited to see how the track is when it comes to a race situation. And we also have our own regional final coming up in a couple of weeks. But in the meantime, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.